behind some of this stuff.
Can I just ask a quick question, if that's okay? Where did this guy come from?
You are always providing me with the greatest of segues, Alan. So Vernon Butt, he was a 22-year-old factory worker with a long criminal record of petty offences. He had been in and out of institutions himself and was a bit sadistic when it came to sex.
Okay.
Vernon was also a little peculiar, and there are various people who say different things about their encounters with him. Most notably, that he liked to dress up in a Darth Vader uniform, which isn't uniquely on its own. Isn't that weird? If you go Comic-Con, you're going to go see a premiere or something.
Yeah.
Fine. If you just fancy fucking about, I've put on my Spider-Man outfit in this house just for shits and giggles sometimes, so it's fine. But he would just wear it sort of, in a creepy way.
Yeah.
Because he also claimed to be a wizard. And there were also reports of him sleeping in a coffin. So, Darth Vader uniform, not uniquely strange on its own. Being a wizard, sleeping in a coffin, those are the things that make it weird. And not weird in a kooky way, in a cool way. Weird in a, stay away from that guy.
Oh dear.
That said, no matter how comical Vernon's peculiarities may seem, there is nothing funny, Alan, about what would happen next.
Well, to be fair, you already think he's a cock anyway. So.
Well said. 3 weeks later, after Marcus's body was found in Malibu Canyon, 15-year-old Donald Hayden of Hollywood turned up dead and mutilated in a trash bin near the Ventura Freeway. He had last been seen near the Gay Community Services Center in LA. Donald had been raped and strangled. His throat had been slashed. An attempt had been made to castrate him.
Oh my God.
It's fucking horrible. I mean, these things escalate at quite a rapid pace. On September 12th, 1979, the body of 17-year-old David Murillo was found near the Ventura Freeway as well. He had disappeared while riding his bike to the movies 3 days earlier. His head had been bashed in with a tire iron, and he had been sodomized and then strangled with a ligature.
What was that?
A ligature?
Yeah.
Just something you would use to tie someone. So pretty much Vernon and William go on a bit of a joyride, a death ride, right? Death ride. They go on like a bit of a road trip type thing. So
a murder spree.
Yeah, they sort of hop it in and out of this horrible tacky van and going killing people and going back. For some time, Orange and Los Angeles County officials denied that they had a serial killer on their hands, which I don't get how you could. Although the MO of the three killings were the same, it wasn't until several more would occur that the authorities finally acknowledged what everyone else had been saying for weeks. Real quick note, I read something from there is numerous things that people who wrote about this particular guy, and one of them is a reporter from one of the newspapers who are local, and they say that the newspapers were publishing that there was a serial killer, publishing about these murders to get public awareness about them, but the police were in denial about it so much, and they believed that it was because apparently when you announce that there's a serial killer, like, it costs the department a heck of a lot of money, because you need to be seen to be doing every single fucking thing that you can be to try and catch this guy. So you need to put like special task forces together, you need to be publicizing things, so it cost them a lot of money to try and hunt down a serial killer when they admit that they got a serial killer. And also previous cases, not from this particular police department, but from other ones, sort of the Yorkshire Ripper, John Wayne Gacy, the police departments for those had sort of fucked up a little bit, and there was this sort of fear that when your department fucks up a serial killer case, your name is dragged through the ground, through the dirt,
right?
And usually when those things fuck up, like, officers have to resign because they're bad. So they didn't want that. So they just decided to not acknowledge it. Not the greatest way to. It's kind of like a Mary Poppins way of cleaning up. Just put it on the rug. It doesn't really exist. Can't do that with serial killers and paedophiles. They don't stay under the bed. They actually like it there.
Oh, damn.
Now, Vernon wasn't William's only little friend, quote unquote. It seemed William had a bit of a knack for sniffing out the local perverts, and he would go to make friends and have little road trips with more than a few of them.
Is this why he's called the Freeway Kiler?
Why? Because he would drive around?
No, did you say, is it freeway or three-way?
The Freeway, Free double. Did you think he was the three-way killer? Like someone who would have three ways with people?
No, I thought like there was 3 people involved.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to that in a bit, but no, he's called the Freeway Killer. Freeway.
Okay.
Not the three-way, not the fucking three-way killer. Fuck. Although that would be a fun name. He managed to sort of find some more pervy herbies. On the morning of February 3rd, 1980, William and another sexual psychopath, Gregory Matthew Miley, were cruising the highways. Let me just double check. I think I've got a picture of Greg Miley somewhere. Oh no, this is Miley. Yes.
Oh.
So he's a bit of a...
He looks creepy as well.
He is a creepy guy. I mean, like, he looks... He looks very spooky. He's a spooky chap. Matthew Miley were cruising the highways when they saw 15-year-old Charles Miranda in West Hollywood. They picked Charles up and drove for several blocks before they parked the van. Much like he had with his previous victims, William then sodomized Charles and urged Gregory to do the same. But according to official reports, Gregory was unable to sustain an erection. Unfortunately, that just meant he became extremely frustrated. And so he actually used a blunt object instead. William then strangled Charles with his own shirt, using a tire iron to twist the shirt like a tourniquet around his neck. His body was then dumped in a Los Angeles alleyway. I mean, just the way the sort of disposing of these bodies is horrible. It's like just using them and then throwing them away.
Yeah.
Just throwing them away. According to prosecutors, William loved the killing. He delighted in talking about it, and he was so driven with bloodlust. The two monsters then drove around some more after dumping Charles' body. They wanted to kill again. This is the same fucking day. So they do this shit, and then it's just insane.
Oh my God.
This next, I mean, these are all sad, but this next one is very sad. I think this might be the youngest one of them all. The next victim was 12-year-old James McCabe, who was waiting at a bus stop to take him to Disneyland. Again, I won't go into the details with this one because we don't need to just keep repeating the same thing, and also because he's like 12 years old. I mean, a lot of these are young anyway, but I don't know. I don't want to go into this one too much. Essentially, the same thing just happened again, and then he was found in a dumpster in a place called Walnut City. The two fucking pricks as well, they also took the $6 that he had in his little wallet. And they went and bought some lunch with it instead. So bless his conscience, his little James just waiting to go to Disneyland to have a good time, to enjoy himself with his $6 that his mum or someone would probably put in his pocket, really so he could treat himself to some cotton candy or something like that. Just make sure that he was well fed. Some money that his mum probably gave. I could just imagine everything to do with that. It's so tragic and it's so sad. Essentially, the list of this just goes on and on. And again, I'm not going to go into the grisly details of all of them, but just so you can get a picture of how evil this particular man and his friends were, if you didn't fucking realise already. I'm just going to run through a real quick list of some of the other ones who followed. This is just so you get... Again, if I mention just a number, it's just a number. But whenever I tell you these people's names, we can sort of get more of an impact of the real impact of it. So we got Ronald Gatlin, who's 18, disappeared from North Hollywood, March 14th, 1980, sexually assaulted and strangled. His body was discovered the next day. Then we got Harry Todd Turner, who was 14, from Los Angeles, disappeared from Hollywood on March 20th, 1980, sexually assaulted and strangled. His body was found 5 days later near the Santa Monica Freeway. Glenn Norman Baker, 14 years old, from Huntington Beach, sexually assaulted and strangled. His body was found March 22nd, 1980, beside Ortega Highway. Russell Dwayne Rue, 15 years old, from Garden Grove, disappeared while waiting for a bus to take him to his fast food job. Sexually assaulted and strangled. His body was found March 22nd, 1980, again beside Ortega Highway. Stephen Wood, 16. It just goes on. Stephen Wood, 16, from Bellflower, last seen April 10th, 1980, on his way to school, sexually assaulted and strangled. His body was found the next day. Lawrence Eugene Sharp, 18, Long Beach, last seen April 10th, 1980, sexually assaulted and strangled. His body found May 18th, 1980, in a trash bin behind a Westminster service station. Darren Lee Kendrick, 19, disappeared April 29th, 1980, from a Stanton store where he worked. The last guy, you can just understand. If I just told you the number of people, you would just go, okay, there's the number, let's move on. But when you hear every single person's name that is attached to those horrible events, you can just really get an image of the horrificness of how vile this person was and how his fucking accomplice was as well. The last guy, Darren, who we spoke about as well, Darren Kendrick, in addition to the usual fucking shit that he would put his victims through, he was also forced to ingest chloral hydrate, which I looked it up, and apparently it can be a prescribed drug by the doctor as like a sedative to help anxiety and things, but it's usually prescribed in like a tablet form, which even then I think you're meant to dilute it like a heck of a lot, and what he was given was like the pure undiluted liquid form of it. And by the sounds of things, he was just making him drink fucking shit tons of it. The chemical left Darren with corrosive chemical burns in his mouth, chin, chest and stomach. After going through all that fucking horror, he finally had a fatal blow from an ice pick through his right ear, and then another to his upper cervical spinal cord. His body was found the next morning. These people are fucking monsters, man. These are fucking monsters. The police were running in circles, and William was enjoying the publicity that his killings were receiving. Apparently, he'd point out to his friends the work that the Freeway Kiler was doing, and once even remarked that the Freeway Kiler was giving good gays like him a bad name. You what? Fucking asshole. And also he was also keeping a scrapbook of all of his escapades in his van. Oh my God. William, this scrapbook, by the way, just put a little pin in that, because it's very similar to someone else who we spoke about in Pin is in episode 5. Very similar to that. Who we'll get to that. William would have gone on to take the lives of many more innocent men and boys. His insatiable urge to kill showed no signs of slowing down. Much like a drug addict who continuously needs to top up their dosage, the more William killed, the more frequent and the more twisted the murders would need to become before he was satisfied. Luckily, though, a random, completely unrelated arrest would soon blow the case wide frickin' open. So something, they weren't even trying to look for him, and then they stumbled across it. They were just fucking lucky as shit with this one. In May 1980, police arrested a car thief named William Pugh.